slim this down here. Fantastico. I hope everyone is doing fantastic out there. Just making sure everything is up and running. Volume bar is looking okay here. If you guys can hear me, get a thumbs up in the chat. I would greatly appreciate that. And again, just kind of be doing some live market stuff. Again, the market, for whatever reasons, had a rotation today. I think it was because of Daft Punk retired, called it quits, and they are. That's what crashed the market. I think that's exactly what happened, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, that's that is the story there. So let's go and have some fun. Let's see here. Get everything up and running. Fantastico. Let's see, maybe people are joining. Bear, what's up, dude? How you doing? You love that bear emoji, yeah. I saw you and Alpaca were talking about TLT quite a bit. Even with yields and bonds in the sense of the treasury, not really kind of coming lower. I think, did I post it to you guys? Thank you, make sure for the I hear ya. Let me kind of get this up and out of the way. Go to main screen. There we go. So with the TLT, of course, 20 years treasuries, looking for this again, very much a downward trend here on my charts, the way I look at it. Here looking on a weekly side, so you can see that WK stands for weekly, and we're seeing that being very persistent here, and selling off here quite steeply, even though normally at the times we usually will see looking at the different influxes of, like, usually TLT's up if S&P are down. So it's basically kind of a pretty strong tell on what we could see is going on here. Again, with the 5 and 8 moving averages on the weekly side, very aggressively pointing down, and that trend is looking like it wants to consider continuously head lower. So there isn't really much to kind of look for more support here. We're going to be easily looking for potentially maybe that 140-ish range, which we saw a pretty strong kind of a base building here. But if that doesn't hold, we can easily see it come down to the 135. Native Gamer, what's going on, my dude? What's you looking at for today? I'm looking at quite a bit. I added a couple things here and there. Let me look at what I added today. Got some Tesla, sold a little IPOF on the move higher to 17. Like, if you looked at IPOF, that moved. I didn't see any news. I have a couple hundred shares in this. I just trimmed it a little bit around like 1750. Just took a little bit of profits just for whatever reasons. Some of the stocks that I've been holding forever, like Trip, Save, and Norwegian Cruise Lines, are finally printing for me. So I'm very, very fortunate on that behalf there. But that doesn't mean that they're going to continue going in that sense. So I'm just looking at a couple things here. Like IPOF, because I didn't see any news on this one. Just BZ just announced, yeah, whatever, just seeing some large move higher for whatever reasons. It could have been someone leaking something. Who God only knows at this point. With Chamath Palmapil, it always seems like something's always leaking over at his camp there at times. But looking at the Fibonacci sequence with IPOF, that 1830, if it would do get an announcement, we could see that 1830 to $20 be a pretty run higher. Again, it's a SPAC company, so it's a blank check, so we have no idea the rhyme or reasons of what could happen, what could they be buying, and so forth. But yeah. Then another one that kind of took a hit today again, Elon, the old Tesla down nearly 5% today. This is basically looking for maybe some kind of a rebound potentially. We talked about Tesla highlighting it's somewhat due for a pullback, and this is somewhat nominal, basically just justifying it in the sense of the run that we've had basically from 400 all the way to 900 was a pretty strong aggressive move. So That's really just that very strong market that we're seeing come through. But now it's taken a breather, seeing somewhat of a pullback kind of coming in here. We do see the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA, so we're seeing those some of those patterns slightly pull back here to around that potentially the 720 to 722. The load for today is around 735 to be exact. So about $12 higher from where that Fibonacci comes into. Definitely, for whatever reasons, I think again I'm going to stick to it. It's Daft Punk's calling retirement, so basically uh, the market's selling off because of that. Um, yes, because again, if you look at it too, so what's really selling off? A lot of tech stocks are selling off here. So that is basically something that we need to be looking at. Again, those tech stocks are pretty aggressive here. Again, seeing this at these levels here. So the Nasdaq again being the more tech-heavy focus of stocks. Again, that is down well over 1.5%. It was down a little bit, almost to 2% ish to this level here, the 34 EMA. But then if you look at the same side, you have the rut. The rut's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like everything's just fine and dandy. It's not basically doing anything and just kind of just perusing here and trying to potentially try to move higher here to try to break above that previous high around 2300 and really kind of seeing that potentially kind of come full swing around here. Growth for value potentially, because again, I think a lot of people are looking at honestly makeshift is the sense of like, hey, with interest rates and the overall influx of cash, these companies a lot of the times have been beaten so far up in the sense of not having again. Let's look at Jets. So Jets is again the ETF for airlines. Look at this crazy breakout. Is it because they're saying the pandemic's over? Maybe, or they're saying like, hey, that people are saying that we're going to have this party of a lifetime. They're comparing it to Woodstock. I've heard. I just heard on CNBC. I've heard everything from the Roaring Twenties. I heard it from it's going to be the craziest block party you ever seen. Once we start reopening, people letting their hair down, people just kicking off some steam, being able to go to somewhat normal life. Being somewhat of a hermit crab like myself, I'm totally fine being in my office, to be quite honest. But I think most people are not like me, so I have to kind of imagine myself of being someone else. But that's enough. About, we can go in some deep philosophies on that. But with Jets, you've seen that really just kind of print higher here, breaking finally again. We saw this level at 24.23, which is a Fibonacci number. Finally get the move higher here to try to get to that 27.76. So if we do get any kind of positive movement here, though, we could see that continue going through. Is it a little bit elevated at this point? Yes. Again, the stock, normally when this happens, you get like an overflow of buying coming through, very much as well as in. Do they have a cruise line ETF? I haven't heard of a cruise line ETF. All these stocks are somewhat the same. The charts are looking a lot the same. They're breaking past the 618 on their previous swing high to low. So let's look at Norwegian is the one that I personally own. That is again is breaking out to some extent on the sense of the previous base or taps that we've had above these line, finally getting above 27. But guess what? We have earnings on the horizon as well. So be super mindful of that. Again, that's just coming up on the 5th. So that is 3 days away, basically on Thursday. They usually report pre-market. Yeah, they report before the market opens. So maybe a large run up into earnings. I'm not usually the biggest fan of seeing that kind of mentality there, of just seeing that very, very high run into earnings again. The cruise line industry, I don't think it's going away. I think that's pretty much a standard here now. That with a lot of people, again, if you're rewinding a one whole year or a little bit less than a year, or rewinding 10 months from today, everyone thought that is the whole world's just going to be. There's no longer going to be people flying airplanes. No one's going to be going on cruises. No one's going to be going to hotels and going on vacations. I think that was just the animal ape instinct of humans to think of that. Yes, there is going to be turmoil and things like that, but that whole industry is just not going to evaporate in that sense. There will be pullbacks and ones that will be struggling more than others. But with all in all that being said, definitely seeing a very strong resurgence in the travel stocks, very much the travel stocks. Um, and at the same time, Bitcoin has come down nearly 5%, really kind of coming down again. Bitcoin really does trade in the sense of the Fibonacci sequence and really heavily on the technical side. It has come down exactly to that parabolic SAR dot around 48,000 and just kind of made a really strong 180 about face and coming back up to that previous 1272 extension, which is around that $53,000 price target. With the overall trend to continue, again, if we keep this trend up in that way, by keeping the trend up, meaning that we're staying at least above the 48 and even above the 42 thousand targets for Bitcoin to kind of see it continue kind of rise higher into that $67,000 range. Makeshift, I think my only tech stock is green is CCI. Yeah, CCIV. They have that announcement coming out tomorrow. Oops, too many. See, seeing that announcement coming out tomorrow potentially. Running very hot, kind of holding in around that 60 range. Nothing to really write home about. Quite a bit there, but with this again, super high IV, very much on the skew. If you have to put it on a basically on a graph on how risky this is and how speculative it is, it's pretty speculative because again, you're really just speculating that this deal's going through. There's not gonna be any hiccups or anything on the ways. Again, the probabilities of all that stuff is very hard to calculate in the sense, but unless you're inside the deal. But with CCIV, really much just on the graph, looking at that 5 and 8 continuously holding and seeing that potential movement just continue to slightly grind higher here at these levels. Again, how high can it go? It can go super high. People are kind of comparing CCIV to what happened with QS. So QS had that move higher, came to this 5 and 8, and then it had those announcements, and then that FOMO kicked in, and we just saw it rip higher. So basically, trading in around that like 58-ish range, and then the announcement came out. We shot up to 87, almost $90, came back down, hit the 8 EMA, and then rocketed higher again. This is why I'm telling on these very aggressive momentum plays, always look at the 5 and 8 moving averages on the daily side. It's really going to help you take out all that noise from my perspective in the sense of seeing all those swings higher and lower. Like it's going to be helping you find that resistance to or support to the downside there. Safe haven is GME. Yeah, what is GME? I thought, is it still trading around 45 bucks? $44.22. Yeah, that is just that is just sitting and chilling there. What is Nikola doing? Is that up 30,000%? Nope, another just safe haven. I think you got to figure it out. The safe havens are Nikola and GME. Yeah. Yeah, earnings coming out for this one too on Nikola on the 25th on Thursday. That's going to be a very interesting one to see without a doubt there with the old Nikola. Really an exciting, super exciting stock that we've seen and covered quite and seeing these crazy ebbs and flows here. But this is definitely a pretty, it's just kind of dormant here again. Whatever happened to like the GM deal and all that kind of stuff, it's just kind of been foregone and just forgotten about, or they never took the options to get into that. I thought GNOG was future growth. Yeah, GNOG, whew, I don't know what's going on over in that camp. That is very aggressively hitting that 17, which was the 144 EMA, now hitting the 200 EMA. This could be a potential bounce play here. So I'm not saying it's down and out here and just going to continue going lower here, Saint. But with GME, it's very much a heavy downward trending stock. Like, look at this. Like, we just hit the 200 EMA. This is still below the 2134 EMA. All these moving averages are still aggressively pointing downward to the ground. So, unless you're a bear on this stock, you're not doing very well with it, and just a very much a downtrend continuously here. BBY, what is Build a Bear doing today? BBW, sorry. How and why is I don't even know anymore. I am so disconnected, I guess. I have no idea what this means. That is definitely an interesting to see here. Technically speaking, I think we've talked about this one quite a few times. If it really gets that strength and breaks above 650-ish, where it's kind of seeing some of that previous resistance here, that $7 is that particular range, and that $7 range is kind of also coming into those parabolic SAR dots that we're currently seeing, kind of coming down here as well. But Bear says, "Is AMD still a short?" Well, I'm long AMD, Bear, so but it's not treating me well. You're the expert on the short stuff here, but it's below the 189 EMA, which is the blue line, the blue teal line. I've kind of added that back into my charts here. If this doesn't hold here above $86, I'm gonna have to consider rolling some of my calls and then maybe taking some stock off the table here. Because if that breaks, we could be seeing it down to $84 to $83 level again. Stock's going to be much easier to hold if that does come through, but those calls are really going to be getting near to really hard to recover if we need to really see a extremely strong recovery coming with AMD, even though AMD is a fantastic company and super strong. But the chart's speaking here, and it's just kind of could potentially push us lower. But looking here on the weekly side, this is where it gives me hope here. Um, this is again, this is where I'm talking about that support coming in. That 21 EMA here on the weekly side is what we're really going to be looking for, that support level to potentially hold us here and see that maybe get that final nice little push higher and kind of shake out some of the people that could be weak in it, or just maybe give some people a confidence back on getting back into AMD. But yeah, very much just very chop, chop, chop. Not a very downward trending yet, unless we start breaking below that 85-ish level that we just talked about. Nicholas going to be doing another executive's driveway and blow expectations for earnings. Yeah, that's exactly. Can you check CTRM? Compliance day is tomorrow. It's bear coding is crazy these days. CTRM. Yeah. So again, very much a very aggressive move higher. Again, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Got somewhat of a blow off top here. Now, kind of coming slightly back down to the $1.22. This could be a potential holding pattern here. I'm not the largest fan of trading these penny stocks and really seeing that movement there. But that being said, that could hold here. If it doesn't, we could see it come back down to basically some support around 99 cents to a dollar. Native Game Terms, I've been in AMD since $29. Awesome. Yeah, Build a Bear's a recovery stock. Kumar, what happened to Amazon? You and me both, man. Amazon, very much, if you on the daily chart, if you're looking at a smaller time frame, you're pulling out hair. But if you're looking here on like a daily chart, even what I'm looking tying myself more to is the weekly charts on my longer data positions, which Amazon is, like AMD. It's just coming down to the 21 EMA on the weekly side. So that is basically what I'm currently looking for at these levels. So if it does kind of show some support around that 3100, which we're going to be looking for that as a potential support level. Yes, it did kind of pull back today. It's been very choppy here, but the overall trend is still on the weekly side. Again, that's a much longer term horizon that most people don't like to look at times. But zooming out to this time frame really kind of tells a pretty clear picture in the sense of what we're seeing here, kind of holding the 21 EMA and so forth, and really just potentially seeing that hold. Again, I can't tell the future or have a crystal ball here, but that 21 EMA is a very key level that we want to see. The old Amazon, the new regime of Amazon, since Bezos is stepping down as CEO title, potentially kind of make up here. Because again, like we talked about, like I think Kumar, I just added that 89 EMA back into my charts because again, a lot of the tech stocks have been coming back to the 89 EMA. So that's that little teal line there as well. The last one we just talked about that came back was PLTR. After that very large earnings blowout here, we saw it come right down to that 89 EMA and make a very strong bounce. So not trying to project out and kind of guesstimate and everything's a cookie cutter pattern, but that potentially could play out in some of these other key factors of stocks there. Uh, Watch this be the chop before the stimulus saves everything. Yeah, like again, like there could be another lifeline coming in. There's could be maybe the Fed has some way to put more money into the markets. I don't know how they could do that. They could do some black magic stuff. Who knows? Of course, yeah, the stimulus bill, any kind of infrastructure bill could really put out this fire that we're seeing in some of the tech stuff, and really kind of see a very strong moves to the upside without a doubt. So it says Daft bought Quint, so the market sold off. Yeah, that's what I think happened. That's a joke. If you're new here, I'm just joking. Let's do a quick looky around. We're seeing the S&P 500 kind of coming in here. Again, look at this on the daily chart. Look at it tapped the 21 EMA and now it's kind of recovering here. So the panic selling, someone wrote it. I saw who wrote it. Who said no panic selling? Yeah, panic selling is very. Trust me, I know it. It's very painful, and it hurts to panic sell things quite a bit here. But that being said, you kind of have to be very mindful and someone have some high conviction on the trades that you're placing. Again, my parameters, the way I trade is a little bit no joking, okay? Thanks, Bear. Basically, I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Um, that being said, is basically we're seeing this 21 EMA really kind of come into support. Can that hold? I don't know. We have some Fed stuff coming out this week. Traditionally speaking, seasonal. The February month time frame is not the most best representative of the bulls in the market. It's a very much a bearish month in the sense of the overall industries and just the cycles over the years. Why do I say that? It's because I look at my stock trading almanac here, which I got from Amazon. Where was that data? There was a very interesting data point that I saw. Where was it? Oh, Nikes. Like I still have the start of the GME short squeeze on January 25th. Like I write notes all over this, so this is definitely a very messy book. Yeah, can't find it, but there's a chart of like the seasonality. Maybe I can hold on. Let me find it real fast. I know I have it saved here. 1 second. Here we go, seasonalities. All right, so here, should be able to see it here on the stream. This is basically a view of the 15 and 5-year composite of the S&P 500 on the seasonal composite here. You can see here on the 5-year and the 15-year, we've seen both coming into the new year very much flat to down. Again, this is just technically speaking, doesn't mean it has to happen. This is just kind of somewhat of a blueprint to see those movements that kind of come through here. So really needs to look for in around these ranges here. So basically that February to March timeframe, we do see that sell off. You of course can see the 5-year composite being somewhat skewed due to the very substantial market pullback that we just had of last year. So that's a little bit tandem to that one. But the 15-year kind of shows you a very nice little skew here. But because again, you can do these on different industries. So we can just look here on let's do the Russell 2000. That's a nice little way to look at it as well. Again, skewed here on the 5-year, but the 15-year, the beginning of the years are always somewhat flat here. And then from the stock trading almanac, since we have a new president, usually that is also an indication of somewhat of a flat January, February, and March. And then once the current administration gets things up and running, maybe get some bills passed that people like, people get money in their pockets, aka the stimulus bill, aka we could get a very large infrastructure bill for building more stuff here in the United States, all kinds of things, EV credits, stuff on solar panels to cars, all kinds of things that can really jumpstart the economy, aka potentially make the market run hot, hot, hot. So this is kind of a little bit of food for thought again, looking at the seasonality of stuff. So really not just going to be tying myself completely to that narrative, but just being mindful of like, hey, things do pull back in February. Most people do kind of go crazy and go selling. I bought more IPOE today. Yeah, what that didn't go pretty low today. I might have to add to that too. Yeah, it did. My alert must have gone off. I had the 21 EMA. That's interesting. I'm gonna put it here. Let me do this. Yeah, IPOE. Of course, this is the wonderful stock that's going to be the SoFi. So with Chamath Palihapitiya, this is supposed to be, correct me if I'm right, it's supposed to be coming into fruition at the end of March or mid of March. They're trying to shoot for. Oh, looks like UPS is showing up here. Wonder if he's got my drugs. What did I order? I ordered something from Amazon. Oh shoot, I forgot what I ordered. Anyways, with that being said here, with the IPOE, I'm actually going to have to add to that one. I only have stock in that one, I believe. Because the IV is fairly high. This might be a nice one to do some covered calls in, actually. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice. I like. Let's see here. March. It's a possible. Let's see here. Nothing too snazzy in March. Yeah, I'm gonna add. I'm trying to add. Okay, why isn't it letting me add? There we go. Add. Let's just add 100 shares here. There we go. Nice little ding ding from Tastyworks. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Get some of that. Add a little bit here. Is that like 10-ish? 10 call. Here we go. Do that. Filled in that. See. Looks like someone's asking for ENPH, ENPH. Ooh, that is definitely, I got hammered for sure. Um, Yeeh. Somewhat aggressive to the downside here. This is something to be very well aware of. To again, broke past the 50-day here and now kind of going to, there's not really any kind of moving averages here on what I use on the Fibonacci things. um, this is something to look for, potentially looking for a floor support around 160, looking at maybe this previous little like extended candles here, back here around the beginning of the year, maybe being some short level support. But for whatever reason, I don't know what happened here, the news behind this, but there's a pretty aggressive downward move. We're talking well over 10%. So that is a pretty large movement there. It's a very interesting time, without a doubt. It's going to be a very tough one to buy. I don't like to buy something that's very much red like this. Again, just breaking through the 5 and 8 moving average and so forth. Diego says ABML. ABML. Yeah, it's kind of it's a hard one to hold here, as again you can see here, it has basically, on the momentum side, it has broken. It basically broke way on this day here on the 17th once it closed below the 8 EMA, and it just kind of continued kind of going lower here. It kind of held the 21 EMA for one day, but then it kind of broke that, potentially looking for some support around the 34 EMA on the daily chart around 286. But if that kind of gives the floor as well, that could also come down here and pulls into the 55 or 50 EMAs down here. Support on JMI. Yeah, so this is one that I've always been very hesitant about. I've heard, I don't like to call out rumors here, but this is something that I want to be to look at in the sense of moving this stock here again. It is supposed to be the Amazon of Africa, so that usually when that gets that kind of movement here, you're seeing the 5 and 8 cross through the 21 EMA here, maybe potentially continuing with the earnings coming out on the 24th. Is it pre-market? It's before the market, so it's basically on Wednesday, so you have to get your stuff in by the old Tuesday the close. With that, we could again see somewhat of a move. What's the expected move? Do they have weeklies? Yes, they do. So they're looking for around a 10 to 1050 move here. So we're currently sitting at that can easily put us back down to the $40-ish range, which again is the 89 EMA. So basically, be well aware for that to be some kind of floor supports there. That is something to be to kind of be considering here with those levels. But again, this stock has not seen these kind of levels, because this stock, if you zoom out here a little bit, this stock has been on fire since again November of last year. It's continuously to run here, holding to the 21 and 34 a couple times here. So we could potentially see that kind of come into play here with this movement here, potentially kind of staying above that 34 EMA and maybe kind of ripping higher here. If so, that'd be fantastic if you're the bull on it. If you're on the bear on it, I'm a little hesitant just because it has earnings coming up this week and just literally 2 days, and that could really throw a wrench into things without a doubt. TTCF, is that Tattoo Chef? How's that one doing? Yeah, this was on. If I had a short report, I don't know. I need to make up a short report and make it like a parody kind of thing. But anyways, so this was kind of like on my initial short report, and people like, why you don't like this stock? I'm like, well, if people don't know, I am a premium gold plus super duper duper Costco member, and I've seen Tattoo Chef within the frozen food section many times. I've bought it. I like it, but I don't have not seen many other people buy them. So, what does my ape brain tell me on my completely fantastic due diligence is like, hey, I'm looking over here. This freezer's full of Tattooed Chef frozen vegetables and meals. Why is no one buying it? Maybe because they don't like it. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant on it. Looking here strictly on the chart here, that 2460 has been a level we have not been able to get past. So, and now we're seeing it kind of coming through. Looks like we have potential earnings coming out March 1st, but again, it's not confirmed yet via Thinkorswim. Guess what that's coming down to as well? It's coming down to the 89 EMA on the daily chart. So it's been a very aggressive last 3 days for the old chef here. It's been very hard on him, many long hours here, basically going from that $25 level 4 days ago, nearly 26, and now aggressively kind of pulling back down here to that 89 EMA. If that doesn't hold, we're looking for 21.47 and then to around 21.44. Can USD the creators from Daft Punk calls it quits, so the US market went down? Why that? I yeah, but Daft yes, no comment. They said no more, yeah. But Playboy looks like a safe haven as assets. Interesting, without a doubt. Let me check something here real fast. Let's see here. Let's see, I want to take this really fast here. That. Okay, thank you for that. I did again. I'm not making fun of the old tattoo chef. I'm just looking at how the charts look like that. Edward says, Ken, you are nice. I like you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Edward. I don't know you very well, but yeah. What platform is that, please, guys? I'm using Thinkorswim. So what you're looking at via the charts that I'm using is Thinkorswim, which is from TD Ameritrade. Yeah. See here, checking a couple market stuff. Get this move over here. Fantastico. Yeah, Thinkorswim, 100%. Let's look at, okay. S&P 500 is getting super close on being positive for the day. It's been looking here on the hourly chart, it's been a pretty strong rally coming in here. Very interesting ones. Again, that sell-off really was into the overnight market and the pre-market. Really bottomed out here again. Now we're seeing that kind of come through. So we potentially could get this. There's this wonderful, with multiple different acronyms and other kind of various silly things to remember in trading is you always have sell-off Monday, and then you have turnaround Tuesday, also known as Taco Tuesday in my house. But if you get that really strong pull around, basically turnaround Tuesday, meaning that the stocks will skyrocket for whatever reasons. Yeah. Will the Nasdaq have another major bull run once the little dip is over? Edward, I don't know, but as we're looking at the market right now, the Nasdaq is showing support. The Nasdaq, in my book, if it long as it stays above the 55 and 50, the 55 EMA and the 50 SMA, in my book, it's it's in yeah. I'm stuttering here. It's within an upward trend here. So around basically for the Nasdaq, let me just go to the QQQ to kind of simplify things because those are some big numbers sometimes. It just needs to stay above like $318 for QQQ. Really, where the SMA 50, 55, and 50 SMA lines are kind of coming into. Why does this keep on? Something happened with Thinkorswim again. It's not updating my moves. I don't know why that was all the way down there. But this is basically what we're looking at here in that sense of QQQ. Anything between that 21 to 34 is considered support in my book. Hey, Ken, would you like to look at CRSP? CRSP. Yeah, again, that 89 we just added into our daily charts here. We're seeing that kind of maybe hold here. My only concern is that it's somewhat aggressively down here. We're not seeing that like a base building in the sense of just kind of trading sideways and getting that chop coming through here. It's very much with the 5 and 8 pointing to the ground here, and the averages are still aggressively pointing to the downward side. So we could potentially try to start building here around the 148. If that doesn't hold, we could easily see it come back down to 130 to 128. You've been in since $62, so this is just you got a pretty nice chunk of change on it, so your cost basis is fairly low. Yeah, with the long-term hold, we can kind of look here on the weekly side. So on the weekly side, it's just coming down to the 21 EMA, so that kind of makes it just fine here. So very much to look at those levels there. Is plug a buy? Let me look. I haven't plug. How's that one doing? Oops. Yeah, very fast momentum driven stock like we've seen here before, but it is a fairly strong one. Looking for it also bouncing off the 50 SMA here with those support levels. Let's see here. Someone's asking for the old silver A. No, these are not. AG. Let's look at AG. Yeah, really nice little breakout here in the AG and then SLV. Yeah, silver, really particular play here. We could be seeing somewhat of a turnaround. The thing that I did see kind of coming through with the silver side of things is that very aggressive plays that people don't actually know. Silver is actually a very large component within batteries and solar panels. And I think a lot of people are like, hey, isn't that what all the new SPACs and all the new companies that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis always revolve around EVs and solar panels? So SLV is looking fairly interesting though. Oh, the heck is that? Oh shoot! Oh, my shroud video just popped up. My old boy. Um, what's F? Got my boys on WhatsApp just ping me. WUSE. Wow, interesting. That is a super choppy stock. Let's see what they have here. Ooh, the May ones look spicy. March, wow, okay. Those look very spicy here. Let's see here. Is it anyone in the chat trading this one at all? So let me see, like, okay, sorry. Let me get to it. I'm from Brooklyn. You're too freaking nice. Lose big money buying tips. Good job. Good content. Thank you, trucking. Trucking with mother. uh, that's awesome. PLTR covered already. Right? You mean like recovered here? Yeah, PLTR, very much so. It is down a little bit today. I would like to see it back above at least $30 to $31 to really see it recover here. But if you watch the video the CEO put out, it's been a very strange one to watch as well. Because again, the guy was talking about he's like walking in the snow and like I think it was like somewhere in like Colorado or near the Denver area. I think it's where they're headquartered at. I should know that because they own their stock. Um, but they are definitely a interesting group of folks. Without the without further doubt about that. Um, Let me see here 1 second. Need to. Uh, mhm. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. So that is interesting there. So PLTR made somewhat of a recovery here. Again, I'm sorry guys. I'm during live market trading. I have to I get these alerts on Tastyworks and so forth. I have to confirm these. Then at the same time with PLTR, made a pretty strong bounce off around that 89 EMA as we talked about here. Now we're seeing that kind of bounce higher here. Like I said, I would like to have it above at least $30 to $31. But with that caveat, like we saw the CEO talk about, he's like, hey, we're going to be investing very heavily into research and development. And most people that are like swing traders and very much a short-term mindset, that's not their favorite cup of tea. When someone's talking about very aggressively buying into R&D and not really looking to just trying to generate the next level that will help them be the market leader in 3 to 5 years, that's the kind of stocks that I like. And that's kind of the stocks that you see Kathy Wood buy again, because again, a little bit more longer time horizons that they really want to see these trends really play out. At the same time, we could see some chop coming through. Initially, that $31 range we've seen kind of fail here a couple times here. In that being sense, we are seeing, again, a lot of the tech stocks, the Nasdaq heavy driven stocks, growth stocks, kind of pulling back a little bit today. So that kind of puts PLTR in that bucket there. But with that, also looking for that potential support level around 26 to 27 to hold in the short term. But that 89 EMA, which is around that 24.50-ish, came in pretty clutch higher on the sell-off after the earnings. GEVO. GEVO. Yeah, this one again, momentumly, it has kind of broken the momentum trade again because it has broken past that 8 EMA, and now it's kind of holding some support around 1150. So 1150 is going to be your short-term support. Be mindful, we do have earnings coming out on the 18th of next month, so we could potentially kind of get some chop going into that earnings report. So be super mindful of that. Edward's asking, hey Ken, do you ever, air quotes, a revenge trade in order to get back money from a stock that you lose in the past? Yes, I was the worst revenge trader in the world, and I would just, if I would lost $1,000, I'm like, hey, coming tomorrow, I'm gonna place these 3 bets, and I'm gonna make $2,000 and make past that 1,000, and then add another 1,000. 9 out of 10 times, that don't work. That no worky. No, 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 no. That does not work. Again, it works. It works 1 out of 10 times, if that. Maybe 1 out of 20. Maybe 1 out of 100, to be quite honest. But once you start adding emotional trading, Edward, it's game over in my book. Yeah, copper is a good way. Copper is always somewhat tied to like home building as well, so that's a very good component there as well. Do you long-term hold any ARK ETFs? Which ones is your favorite? I like the financial one in ARK, and then the genomics one. I don't own any. I own ARK. I own all 3 of those: the genomics one, finance or fintech, and then the innovation one. Dave, what's up, my friend? RCL. Yeah, look at this again. These cruise line stocks. Like, I haven't found a cruise line ETF, so this is an interesting one though. Really, these coming out super large here, so I'm a little hesitant on, if you're not in these, I would not want to buy these right now. A cruise line stock being up nearly 12% in a day, that seems a little sketchy, right? There's definitely a sense of, it's hard for me to say. Again, the earnings, they actually made money, which is I, I am the first, again, I started at the beginning of the stream. If we start getting these reopening stories, people are comparing it to like the Roaring '20s, Woodstock, the Freedom '60s, and all this kind of stuff. Of just seeing these people letting their hair down, people popping bottles, champagne bottles, all excited, finally able to dust off their old dancing shoes and just having a ball and going to the clubs or whatever people do, going to sporting events. Again, you're looking at my world. My world basically revolves around my family and my trading, and just those are pretty much what you're looking at here. You see my family pictures in the back, and then you're just seeing me talking about my trading stuff and stocks and everything. Basically, that's my world. So it's definitely a very I'm not the best factor to kind of talk about cruise lines because I've never been on a cruise. I don't think I ever would be on a cruise, but they're made money. Like, that's insane, right? They made earnings per share again. With, it's a little bit elevated, in my opinion. I cannot just go out and buy these straight off the bat here. This was a position that I built way months and months and months ago. Because again, I was like, cruise lines are going to come back. Like, people love the cruise lines. It's like the, you have the very high end cruises, and then you have like the budget friendly cruises again. So we'll see people in masses standing in front of buffet lines again and just sitting in the sun next to people not with plexiglass all around them. Like, that's going to happen. You have to realize your brain. Like, we're not going to be in plexiglass the rest of our lives, right? I think I would buy calls on that. I would buy leaps on that. The bet being we're not going to be behind plexiglass in this bubble world in that time frame. So that's just my opinions there. Yeah, Dave, that's a good point. So that it looks sounds like you're much more into the stuff within the cruise lines, but with that sense of, hey, these reopening stocks again. We're seeing Disney. Like, look at Disney. Disney has, again, full disclosure, I'm long Disney. I think, can Disney hit 200? Heck yeah, it can, and it will. Bet your bottom dollar. With that, again, coming up quite a bit here, we're seeing that really flourish pretty high here, and seeing this move continue to ramp up here with Disney. Because again, Disney's they got their finger in every kind of entertainment and really every business. Again, they launched that Disney Plus a little bit over a year ago. They have nearly 90 million subscribers. They they own and operate a cruise line. They own and operate multiple Disney and parks and attractions. They own movie studios. They own a movie studio. They have the movie theaters are closed, but the company's still doing fine. You couldn't honestly tell looking at the stock here that it's having any kind of rough times. Looking at the stock, not just on the balance sheets, but I'm looking strictly at the stock here. With that $200 price target being very much incentivized to potentially take us higher. That's going to be the next level to look for at those levels there. Mm-mm. This, yeah, pin. What's up, Alan? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Can make a full song out of your fuller harmony. Hey brother, Zoom hit 496 today, and it's still at 57. What do you think? Um, Zoom ticker symbol ZM, right? Um, it hit four. You said it hit 496. That 490 is that level that I talked about potentially getting somewhere to rebound here. We do have earnings coming out here on the 1st of March here. Being very mindful of that. Looking for again some support coming in around overall resistance around that 459 or 460 basically. That's because we're all friends here. Looking for this to slightly kind of come back here. Let me look here on a smaller time frame. We do have a Fibonacci number that could have potentially bounced off of that 3-ish 90 here. My only consideration for this is basically the sense of the folks on Zoom being, is it really much a reopening play? Or this is just kind of selling off because of people are like, hey, the market is reopening, so we just need to kind of get out of it here as well. This is something to be very, very, very mindful about. Yeah, no, hey, don't be sorry, my friend. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. I mess things up all the time, and I stutter. So no worries, problemo, my friend. But yeah, guess what? It came down to the 89 EMA. We're talking about the 89 EMA multiple times here on the stream today. So again, yeah, that 396 like you're talking about, which is the 89 EMA. So if we do get a bounce here, that could be pretty relative. But we are seeing that 5 and 8 kind of aggressively point down because we did have that gap down today. So that could kind of create that little earnings fluctuation that we could see and kind of retrace that earnings move that we could see. So the earnings expected for that week is basically $57. So that could easily kind of run up here and down. But Zoom is kind of one I really don't want to touch, to be quite honestly, with earnings because it's very much a coin flip here. How did you come to acquire the technical analysis skills you have? Lots of confidence. Many years of many years of just being dead wrong, Brett. And I had some pretty good mentors. And there's a dog just pooped in my yard, but the lady's picking it up. Thank you, lady. I'm giving you guys like a play-by-play. I got my UPS guy coming by, got my neighbor's dog taking a poop, but she's cleaning it up. I have wonderful neighbors and I have fantastic viewers here on the live stream. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate hitting that like button. But let's see here. Have we looked at Ford or AMC? I think you're onto something here, Alan. AMC, that is going to be one heck of a turnaround story. If they can get this boat turning around here. So AMC trading before the pandemic was kind of where it's looking at. If I'm right, I need to do some more DD on this one, Alan. So basically, if they kind of recovered at this level here, we could, I'm looking on the weekly side, and they paid off their debts. We could see a pretty large move higher to that $9 range potentially. Then I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but that could happen because we're somewhat kind of coming down to that double support level there, which is kind of around that $6.34. So that could be a spicy meatball to try to bite into. Ford, yes, I love me some Ford. This one again, playing the very true market believers in the EV stuff. Ford, GM, and Tesla is in my book. Looking for, again, the 5 and 8 moving average to kind of hold here. That overall Fibonacci number at $11.43 has been fairly significant on holding here. If we can hold that pattern here, it can easily, with some continuous growth and holding that trend above the 21 and 34 EMA, which is also lining up with those parabolic SAR dots here, we can see that run up to 1348, which is going to be the next level of overhead resistance if we get that catalyst or that continuously trend moving higher here. Did Ken state that he would not be buying leaps on cruise lines? No, I have some stuff on cruise lines, but I bought them months ago. I would not buy them up at these levels though. I bought 34 kilograms of silver. Nice, congrats. Thoughts on CCIV merger if they haven't touched this already? Yeah, Bonnie. Yeah, basically CCIV. They have that announcement tomorrow here. So that announcement tomorrow is, again, maybe they're going to be bought by Tesla. Who knows what the announcement could be? It's like most likely, I think people are speculating that it's going to be the announcement of the deal's closed, the money has been funded, the pipe deal is shut down. We added 1.3 billion or whatever the costs were for the pipe deal, and we can get a blow off top. Basically, so CCIV is kind of coming into like what QS was, so that people are kind of putting it in that category. And we can kind of see that where how QS was. So QS had that announcement, ran higher, but it still continued to hold that 5 and 8 moving averages until it had like that momentum, really just like these crazy staircases higher here, and until we had that elevator down once that the music stopped and kind of thing ever just kind of just took a killing for it. So with CCIV, it's still very early in that sense because but we are holding that 5 and 8 moving averages there. So that is very key levels that we're looking for to continue to see that support level. Initially, if it does pull back, we're going to be looking for basically $50 or $49.25 to be precise to kind of show us that support level if it does decide to pull back. So it's definitely going to be very aggressive, very fast action. Not my favorite cup of tea because, again, I have old fat hands. So again, it's only up 11.5% today. Yeah, the $57 for the upside is what the options markets are looking for. So it's $57 plus or minus where the current stock's at. You can't get in the Discord? Here, let me send you one. Hang on. It's expired. It should, I need to update that. I'm sorry. How do I invite people? Bum 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 bum. There you go. Dallas is asking for NNDM. Who? Yes, NNDM getting a little bit slaughtered today. But in the whole grand scheme of things, it doesn't look too bad. The chart is looking pretty interesting in the sense of very aggressive moves that we've seen continue coming up. It has had, I don't even know how many stock offerings at this point. It's been a smorgasbord of stock offerings without a doubt, and just continuously them just piling money. Again, using that money to acquire companies for research and development and things like that, to help them grow their pipeline and make NNDM the leader, and make them a nice chicken dinner winner, for the sense of being the lead manufacturer for these 3D printed silicone chips for prototypes. That being said, here, technically speaking, we are coming down again nearly 6% today, over 6%, hitting that 34 EMA. We haven't hit the 89 EMA, but with this little bit of like selling off here, the 5 and 8 moving averages are kind of aggressively pointing down. If we do get across through the 21 EMA, we could easily see this pull back to around that 12 to 1139. Not saying that can't or won't happen. This is something to look out for, because again, a lot of people are very aggressive in the stock. Again, the stock has been pretty much ripping higher for the past like 3 months, and now it's seeing a pretty significant down week overall, in the sense it's just been down over and over multiple times, day after day, day after day. When are we going to find a bottom? Basically, a lot of folks are saying. Initially speaking, if we can hold 34 EMA, that's going to be around that $13 target here. If that does not hold, we can easily see it come down to 1139. So we do have a squeeze setting up here. RSI and volumes and oscillator are both kind of dormant. Looking here on the weekly side, we do have that parabolic SAR dot here at 1250. So that's pretty significant, to be quite honest, on a weekly chart on those dots. So if we do get a pullback, we're going to be looking for that to kind of be somewhat of a refresher, and being somewhat of support, speaking of that. D Nice says, Ken, N-O-K, please. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful manners. Nokia. Yeah. Again, be very mindful of this. Again, I'm always a little hesitant to speak about the stocks that were on the Wall Street bet stuff, because again, I think it really kind of hurt them in the long run, where people are just kind of just now, it gave them the tag or the badge of like, these are the stocks that were run up and tried to short squeezed. Well, that shit did get short squeezed, but that being said, it's very much, I consider it somewhat damaged goods, where it kind of has that negative aspect behind it. Mike saying, LOL, I just doubled my NND possession an hour ago. Nice. I shouldn't have sold my BLMN at 17 back in December. RIP. What is, let's look at this one. BLMN. That's never fun. Yikes. Yeah, this is it's been holding the 21 to 34 fairly well, really aggressively picking out here, and really kind of seeing it kick higher here. This is a very interesting one to look at. Let's look on the weekly side. Wow. That's a very spicy meatball. Let me look at this here on this side. If this trend wants to continue still holding that 5 and 8 here on the weekly side, and the 21 to 34 on the daily side, The next target's basically going to be looking for around $30. But that's a very interesting stock. I don't know what the company does though. Beats, what's up, my friend? Hey Ken, which of the following do you like for a rebound? You, Snow, or AI? You you looks okay here. Holding the it's holding the 144 EMA here, which is that green line here. It is still somewhat aggressively pointing down with the 5 and 8 moving averages. They have not really kind of seen that consolidation here. I would like to see maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks basically some sideways action potentially on a moving average that I like. Usually the 89, 144, or the 200 EMA. Because as of right now, this looks fairly weak. If it does break, we could easily see it come back down to 108. So that 108 is going to be that 200 EMA, which I would really consider adding it at that position for me personally speaking. Yeah. Let's see here. Got the Bear just posted New Jersey governor signs bill legalizing Mary Jane. Nice. Good for them. I thought that was already legal. Mm-hmm. Oh, where did my tab go? Just checking. Okay, let's go back here. Sorry. So you're asking for you, and look at Snow. So Snow, yeah, that's a Snow. Since I'm someone in PLTR, Snow is a little of a conflict of interest in the sense of the way I look at things, and I have somewhat of a distaste for Snow. Just again being complete idiotic about it. Very expensive stock. Again, this was supposed to be the IPO of the year, and really did nothing of last year, and then really kind of came out strong, and then came right back down with the overall market. And just kind of still been chop here. It has not really broken out of any range. It's been PLTR was a much better buy, and I'm glad I invested in PLTR rather than this one. So Snow, it's kind of a no-go. It does have earnings coming up for me. But that being said, if it starts breaking below that 267, we can easily see that continue going lower. And then AI, I don't have the greatest knowledge base about this one. Um, Being somewhat of a newer IPO as well. Very choppy here. We talked about this level here around 163 being a level of overall pattern that we could just kind of see potentially going down. a double top, as they call it in the technical like trading books. But this can easily come back down because you're seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages cross to the 21 EMA, so potentially could be kind of maybe a soft landing around 125 to 124. Being the mindset of like, hey, look, there's earnings coming out too, the very first earnings, so that's very much a coin flip on that sense. So the reasoning behind it, if I had to choose one of those, I kind of like you a little bit better because again, they just had earnings a week and a half ago. So, but none of these I would just buy right now, though. Wanted to thank you for everything you do have done. We have really appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm Ken. Hey Ken, first time here for your channel. What's your investing styles? B&H, day, swing. Buy and hold, no, Mike. Most of it is, I'm very much on the technical side. I'm majority of times I'm like 70-75% technical, and the other part is fundamental, and the way I look at stocks. But my style is mostly swing to long term. I don't do very much day trading at all because it kind of hurts my brain. Mm, appreciate your honesty. Yeah, some people don't sometimes. Oh, it's Outback Carrabba's Bonefish Grill. Okay. I have Bonefish Grill. I haven't seen one of those forever. Daniel, thoughts on USMJ? Yeah, that's kind of been. Oh wait, maybe I think. I don't know this one. It's cannabis. Wow. So this is not honestly my cup of tea here, Daniel. Because it's well below even a penny, and I really don't like to trade these. Technically speaking, if we just took all the numbers away, it has some support at basically a 21 EMA on the daily chart here. BBY Build a Bear up to $6.47. There you go, making that money now. Nice graphics. Learning to get the same setup. Yeah, I have videos about setting up the charts here. Do 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 do. Yeah, yeah. I took a half day alpaca. Work's been very busy, and I worked majority of the weekend, so I needed to take somewhat of a rest day, and I felt bad because I promised a lot of people that I would live stream all day on Friday, but work and personal stuff didn't allow me to. What game did you get? Is that a game? Monday is fun day always. What is? Gosh, it's on Steam. Let me look up here. Is this it right here? Ooh, ooh. How much is it? Oh, it's 14 bucks. Ooh, this looks interesting. Wow. Survive the Moon Warriors. Okay. Defend the Kingdom of the Sun. Okay. Got the sheep or lamb. I can't tell what that is. You build castles. Sorry, guys. It goes going off a little tangent here. Um. Okay. This looks interesting. Is it a lot of fun though, Alpaca? Who makes it? I've never heard of these. It must be a newer developer. Upgrading stuff. Super interesting. Yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. Um, I might have to add that. Thank you for letting me know about that. How is MN? Yep, everything looks nominal at MMEDF, my friend. Looks like a Clash of Clans. That's what I was thinking about. I rage quit my first game. That's never a good way to start a game there, Alpaca, to rage quit in the first time. The SP 500s do not want to turn green. The time frame that we want to be looking at is for the SP 500s to potentially do some kind of a turnaround. Would be in the next 15 minutes. So if you're not familiar with the time frame, so with the last hour of trading is basically something that could really drive the market higher here. Again, we hit that. Looking here on the 15-minute chart here on the S&P 500 futures, we've kind of hit that level here. Let me just kind of rotate this over to SPY to kind of give a better perspective here. We kind of hit that wall here around 390 here on S&P 500. That being said, we're kind of bouncing around here at these levels, but we are slightly rotating here in the short term here. Alan says New Jersey's voted to make it legal, but the governor hasn't signed the bill, so they've created to make it official and regulate it because it's not happy with the Women Plan. I didn't see the sign the bill, but they would have blown the whole thing up. But this is a good day for NJ. It's good day for NJ and MJ. Algos are flashing warning signs. What do you mean, 51? Warning signs for up, down, left, right. Um, do you think Tesla looks good at $735? I think so. I wouldn't be buying it here in the sense. Um, again, my cost basis is substantially lower here, so I added like 3 or 4 shares to this morning. Normally, if Tesla's down over I always have an alert for it. Hang on, what did I put it at? Did I buy it today? Yeah, it's pretty down. It's very aggressively going down here. Again, for whatever reasons, I know a lot of people want this to go down just so they can add more, or there's just bears that are very bearish on the market here on Tesla being overpriced just because it's got it into the S&P 500. It should not be valued at these very astronomical prices, and it needs to be retraced back down. That being said, in the short term, we have some support potentially coming in around 720 or 722. If that doesn't hold, we're going to be coming down to around 675. Which is again the 89 EMA. And that would be just fine. Again, the stock can come all the way back down to $583, even come back down to 500, and that trend will be just fine. I don't want it to come down in one single fell swoop. That would be very bad because again, that would really throw a lot of people off. You kind of want somewhat of a soft landing here. We are seeing it pretty aggressively pull back lower here, being very mindful of that. But Tesla, you know, it's pretty notorious for coming out with some kind of announcement and just ratcheting things up substantially higher here. That is Alpaca. I need to get my S together, and I need to create my Twitch stream for gaming and other stuff. Maybe I'll start streaming over there too during the day. Who knows? Tesla loves to aim for memes. 100%. That's how they're around. Mm-mm. No, not so. Support level. So depending on what you're looking at, TATE. Initially in the short term, Since it is a gap down today and it's very aggressively pulling back here, well over 5%, it's very hard to say to buy the dip. I like to buy the dip when it kind of consolidates a little bit. So I don't know if it's going to consolidate at 722, or I don't know if it's going to consolidate at not at $6 or $675. By consolidating means it kind of hits that level and trades sideways for a little bit or chop. Right now, it's somewhat still kind of falling because we're still seeing the very short dated moving averages being moving averages still pointing to the ground. So that is something that I want to be very careful about with those moving averages. Again, Tesla, it can move very aggressively. CCIV technically melts down and then rebounds in the last hour. Can we take a look at GE, Allen? Yes. I was just my fridge kaputsied the other day, and I had to look for a new refrigerator. Everyone's like, "Hey, uh, let's go for the old GE." Um, Jared, there you are, my friend. How you been? What happened to you? I know you said you're on vacation or you went traveling. Well, I'm glad to see you back. I think it disconnect. Or I just it gave you the wrench, didn't I? With GE, great. This is part of the recovery stuff here. Um, that being said, here we're holding that $11.60 range. If that can hold here, it will be fantastic. With the overall trend here, looking here on the weekly side, we are coming in almost with this falling weekly at the 200 EMA here to around that 1280-ish level. So if that can break through that, that would be fantastic. Because again, GE for many years, like let's go into like the monthly chart. This has been a very, very downward trending. Why is this not? Oh, there we go. Downward trending stock for many, many years. Again, because it's in the financial crisis, it sold their it had a financing division. Like GE has gone through a lot of different renovations in the last couple of years. This being said, with this very strong down run from basically the 2016 to 2017, we're seeing that kind of come down here, maybe getting that recovery coming through. I love GE here as an overall turnaround, Alan. I own leaps in this. I can tell you the exactly ones I own. I own the January. I bought the 10s and then I own the 20s for next year. But I like it's going to be a stronger turnaround for me though. There, my friend. AMC is now at $6.45. Oh, whoops! I said AMC. Nice little move here. Yeah, looks like it wants to peak higher here. We've seen it kind of pop up this level before here. Here, looking on the hourly chart here, we've kind of seen it pop up and then kind of sink back down. Let's see if this is the fifth time's a charm here and maybe getting that run higher here again. Very strong overall recovery plays are very spicy right now. NIO is priced too dang low. Yeah, what NIO is kind of taking a poopsies today, isn't it? With earnings coming around the corner too, isn't it? On the 1st of March. I want to see this back up. I want this to kind of close at least above $53, if not today, tomorrow. If this kind of starts continuously here, we can easily see it back around 50. 50 is going to be a very strong support level. If that doesn't hold and we have bad earnings, that can easily break below $47 to $45. It is in the squeeze. The RSI and volumes on oscillator are pretty much a little bit somewhat trending lower here, kind of entailing the moves that we're seeing here with the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA. Looking here on the weekly chart, It looks like it potentially wants to touch 50 and even down to 45 if we do get that negative continuous selling and the overall less of propping it up. Um, with that being said, I think it's a very strong play. I think it's one of the stronger other EVs out there outside of Tesla, um, especially focusing directly on China. Um, but yeah, definitely that's one that needs to watch. Um, Rocket's making massive earnings run up, guys. Is it? I haven't got an alert. Oh, it's up 2.2%. Okay. It's making a nice little move. With that, basically moving higher here. Yeah. It's still in that chop zone. I really want to see it above 2150. I think you know that already. But yeah, definitely interesting trade. Um, MGM, yes, those gambling casino stocks have been performing very well again, going to the full story of the reopening trades and all the other aspects around that. We can really see this kind of really rip higher here again. It has broken past, yeah. So it's actually higher than where it was uh, pre the virus and the pandemic, and now being stronger than ever and really getting again. This really kind of plays in the story of a lot of people are gonna be having a huge party come April, May, June. Once the majority of the people have herd immunity, aka and the vaccine. So we're in time frames that really could make things pop for a lot of these stocks. Again, I'm long calls of being of seeing not we're not going to be in behind plastic balls and plastic. Why am I saying plastic balls? Plexiglass for the rest of our lives. So um, people are going to want to go out. They're going to want to put everything on black or red, and they're going to want to play craps, and they want to play those wonderful slot machines. Which, God forbid, I don't understand how people can play those. They're just you just hit a button, right? You put in money and you hit a button and you hope for something to happen. I find that very strange. There's no is there strategy in slot machines? I don't even know. Maybe I'm missing out on something here. I don't understand it. I drove through the Rockies, the Grand Canyon, and up the Gold Coast of Washington, through Montana, and back to Minneapolis. Wow, was that for work, or you just wanted to get out and about? That is an amazing journey. Yeah, 4,500 miles in a week. Hi caramba. Roland one. What's up, my friend? APPH. APPH looking fairly strong here. Seeing this kind of coming into, yeah, this is I don't even know what this does. App Harvest Inc. This really interesting. I don't know what the stock does, but this is looking fairly strong here, holding the 21 EMA here. A little bit looking some overhead resistance around that $40 range. But if this one can break $40, that could be a nice little runner here. My only concern is that I'm not the largest fan of trying to buy something up at these these highs up here. But looking at potentially some consolidation here, and maybe seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages kind of being the first level of support here around 34, 35, but then even coming down to that $31 range to show them some support here. In the short term, swing trading it, you can easily see it here. If it breaks above 40, that could be that runner to that $44 to $46 range if we get that momentum and substantial amount of volume behind the stock. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see here. Nice. Okay. Um, Alan says, I own 25, 22, 20, 17, so his leaps. Okay, so you got your bases covered, Alan, basically. You got everything coming. Dang, PLTR beating GME for the number of most mentioned stocks on WSB. The short squeeze is officially dead. I think so. Alan, I used to love playing craps, but I don't. I don't. Sorry, I like the odds behind it. But maybe one day we'll have um a live meetup in Vegas. One day, right? Um, MGI. MoneyGram. Wow. Okay. I didn't know this was publicly traded. Wow, that is a huge gap down, nearly 22% on earnings. It looks like I don't want to be catching these very aggressive moves down, to be quite honest here, unless you already have a stake in the company and you have a cost average basis you want to kind of add to. Very difficult to kind of catch the dip here. It could make a again strong recovery here and see this kind of go through here, but it's kind of holding the 34 and 21 EMA, so that kind of stays in between that 8.75 to around $8. That could be a nice little movement to kind of consolidate here. But I normally, after a large move down like this, I want to wait 2 or 3 days to kind of let the news go throughout the wires, no pun intended here, and kind of let people who are invested in it or takes a little bit longer to react to it to kind of get their reaction to see if they get out or not. It was 15 minus 15 for a week in Minnesota, so no work since I work outside. Go took a trip. Nice. Um, how about NNDM? I love this tech. Yeah, we just talked about NNDM just recently. So NNDM, Kathy Wood's 3D favorite printing company. This is a Israel-based company. Very aggressive selling coming in today. Very aggressive. This is again a lot of people. Again, could be a rotation. People taking profits, whatever reasons. This is a very aggressive pattern, especially with the 5 and 8 potentially crossing over this. We could see this potentially coming into that 12 to 11.39 if this selling continues with this very aggressive momentum here. But to the positive side, if you want to start getting into the full swing of things, we need to start getting back above $13.88 to $14. Random Dude says Daft Punk will always be remembered with the fat stacks of cash. Alpaca says I'll go. What do you mean by that? Yes, odds on craps. Yikes. Let's see see what Tesla's doing here real fast. Yeah, Tesla, a lot of things are continuously selling off here into the close here, which again, we could see that turnaround come in around 3:30. So that 3:30 time frame could be that next notion of like, hey, everything's going to be a-okay. Let's go. Just updating stuff here. It looks like pins is selling off too. Like a lot of text is coming in. So again, looking here, the Nasdaqs, we're seeing those really aggressive movements coming in here. Yeah, hitting that 34 EMA here once again here. Looking here on the hourly chart here, coming into that low that we just saw. Could this be more selling? Sure, why not? maybe just shaking out the last people. Because again, remember the time of the last hour of trading is a very active amount of time that we see a lot of people create large orders, go for all kinds of different uh, actions going forth. I'm going to do a quick scan here on my side over here, see if I'm seeing anything. Looks like NNDM just broke 1283. That's not fun. Looking here. Do, do, do. Let's see how this closes here. This is not. Yeah, it looks like that max. Again, we never know exactly when the selling will stop. If for whatever reasons, again, a lot of fear in the market, rotations, all kinds of things. But again, to be mindful and looking at things. Looking at the Russell actually is kind of coming down here a little bit as well. So that is something to be very well aware about. Is GME slowly up because deep FML double down on stocks? I don't know. I think I want to be straight with you and gotta give it the way I look at it. I think GME is remember buying games from there many years ago. Fantastic, wonderful. I haven't been in a GME forever. Um, if DFE double down, sure, whatever, good for him. That being said, I think it's pretty obvious that the big boys have won here, and they were able to really somewhat stipend the overall growth. So, my honest opinion, if the halting and the stopping of buying of GME, we could have easily seen GME in the and basically to like $1,000. Very much if it wasn't really much on that sense of the Robinhood and other clearing firms limiting the call buying or the calls and then also the stock buying. I think GME literally could have been well worth at least $1,000. And those are not my numbers. Those are some stuff that I've heard and seen some very technical analysis online there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sad thing is this crazy momentum is just really just kind of so much skewed everything. Can it maybe run up to 50 $70? Sure, but there's again, there's a very low chance of it running up to $500 again. Jared's asking for STPK. Wow, that's a beautiful looking chart there, dude. Wow. This is a SPAC. Looks like a SPAC. Super nice looking chart. Comes down to the 21 EMA, bounces, 21 EMA, 34 EMA, bounces. Pulling back nearly 5.5% today, so that's something to be mindful about. Yikes. Let's see here. One second. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking chart, to be quite honest with you. Seeing that little bit a tail coming in here. Would rather have liked to buy it closer to the 21 EMA, so around that $39 to $40 range. Not 100% sure what the company does there, Jared, but that's looking here on the chart perspective, that's a fairly nice looking chart. There's not too much that we can go off here because we're talking about a SPAC, so there's not too much data here. Let me pull up on this chart here. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. Yeah, super nice looking setup here. It's kind of hitting the wave here. I kind of like it here for some short-term support around 42, 46. So if that can kind of hold and stay in this range here, we can maybe get that level of support. If that doesn't hold, we're going to be easily coming back down to the 37-ish price target, which kind of, again, going to the daily chart would be kind of putting it in around the 21 to 34 EMA, which we saw it previously there multiple times before it made a pretty strong recovery there. Native Gamer says GME is dead. Yes, I would say so. Again, you have to remember, I think one of the smarter traders that I know is Michael Burry, and he's out of it. So he took his money and ran. And I'm actually going to be working on a Michael Burry video soon. I guess I could share with you guys. So basically, he added some calls in Citigroup. So Citigroup is, again, the bank. So this is something to look out for. I've always invested in some of these banks, but always hesitant. And it's always interesting to see what he buys, not just to follow his trade, but to look at the stuff that he's buying and then they're able to add to it and look at getting your own little own perspective there. Um, so with City, we're basically kind of looking for potentially trying to break above that $67 range. The data that matters here is the Daft Punk split. Yeah. Yeah, did you actually watch that whole 7-minute video that they posted and you just put the self-destruct button on them and just kind of just watched them blow up? I thought it was very artistic and unique, without a doubt. So City was one of them, and he actually added Pfizer. So Pfizer, the vaccine company here, which actually does a lot more than just the vaccine, kind of bouncing off that $34 range here on Pfizer here, and really potentially maybe getting a recovery here. Again, I don't know what the catalyst would be for this one. We have seen it kind of hit this range a couple times before around that $34 range, but it's kind of maybe get bouncing higher. But yeah, that trend is trying to still continuously going lower here. On the daily chart here, that 34 EMA is still aggressively pointing to the ground there. Tesla coming down a logical levels. Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of people was super overhyped here on the sense of just seeing these prices that we saw in Tesla, especially the rambunctious amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Um, this run up from basically from being added to the S&P 500, basically from that 400 420ish level to always run up to 900. We talked about that wall of resistance at 900 being like, hey, if it can break above that, that can definitely run. But talking strictly about valuation and other components like that, it needed some kind of catalyst to help it do that. With earnings was sure, but it wasn't the catalyst that everyone was kind of hoping for, and seeing it kind of print higher here. With that being said, we're kind of really seeing it come back down. We talked about some short-term support coming in around 722. If that doesn't hold, we're going to be adding around or looking for around the 89 EMA to hold, which is around that 675 to 670 range. You don't believe it's over? Okay, well, we'll see. With the uh, who knows? It could be. They could be. That could have been a new transporting device to take them to the moon. I don't know. Definitely interesting ones to watch. Yeah, this is not a fun day without a doubt if you're trading it. I believe most people are going to be down today unless you are completely very, very short the market. Then you would be up today. Or you had all your money in some kind of airline stocks or cruise lines, basically. Because we can kind of look at the, where is that? I always forget where they put it here. Oh, shoot. Here it is, the visualizer. So basically showing everything on the S&P 500 that we're down on every different section. We can go to, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Let's do the Nasdaq 100. Boom. Of course, you see all the Nasdaqs down very, very much. So we got a couple, again, Marriott, Booking. Of course, these are all the travel stuff, Expedia, and so forth. Really, just the only ones kind of coming out. And of course, then retail, we have the Ross stores, Ulta, with the larger components. And with, I didn't even know those were in actually the Nasdaq 100. Um, to really see those, they kind of play that version there. How do you combine volume on your charts? Meaning with the blue down here, you just go to oh shoot, is it chart settings? Yeah, chart settings, and just go on general, and you just do overlay of volume. So if I turn that off, that goes down here. But if I turn it back on, it goes like that. Is that what you're talking about? On the volume on the bottom to here, you're talking about? Hmm. Bum, bum. Wow, this selling is continuing here, isn't it? Whew. Yikers. Let's look at this chart here one second. This kind of tells me a better picture. We got about what 45 minutes left of trading here. This is not a pretty day if you're in a very heavy tech focused stocks, without a doubt. Hmm. Yeah, so we're looking at the Nasdaq right here, looking for that support level around that 13,286 to kind of hold. Again, looking at a 15-minute chart, just kind of see on how different various of these the sell-off can continue. If we do get somewhat of a look at maybe a pop into the close, I'm looking for something to kind of happen around 3:30, and we'll see how that looks like. Yeah, Apple is not looking pretty here, Alan. I am an owner of Apple. It is coming down to the 89 EMA here, which is fine, but it's a little bit it's very much beaten up again. We're talking about it was just at 145 a couple weeks ago, and now we're looking back down to 127 to 126. If it can hold here at this level here on the 89 EMA here, Alan, that could be a level of resistance here. So being with that being said, and that fact, we've seen that 89 EMA hold a couple times here in the past. So if the selling wants to stop and continue or continue to sell off again, the tech heavy stuff and the overall market, if that 126 doesn't hold, we can easily see a break below 125 and maybe even down to 120 for the old Apple once again. Even though it's an interesting time without a doubt, especially with the Nasdaq really continue selling off. So I wanted to look at the Nasdaq to kind of see if we do get that bounce play to kind of come in here towards the end of trading here, and maybe take this as a little bit of a positive news and maybe get some a positive movement from that stock from those levels. Yeah, it's very much like it's rolling over again. That like with the Nasdaq overall. Let's just look at the QQQs to make the numbers a little bit more neater here. Not the world's largest fan of looking at these very aggressive small term timeframes, but I just kind of want to make this this point clear for the folks that are watching on the live stream of just like, hey, that 323-ish dollar level has been level support twice today. So maybe if we do get that to hold here, we could potentially get a nice little rebound going here. So we're just going to look at that to kind of see if that statistically does play out into our favor here. And then looking for that looks like that. So again, that selling is pretty aggressive again. So being mindful of like, oh, it just broke, of like, hey, these are the levels that we are talking about that the 3 to 4 time frame or the last hour of trading, depending if you're on the central, east, or west coast or anywhere else in the world, the last hour of trading is the very aggressive movement. So if we see this selling continue, we want to potentially see it break below that 323 and lower. But that being said, that maybe get a quick little turnaround coming in here on a nice little recovery here if we do see the averages kind to level off here. So we're just going to be looking at that hand really quick here. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like it wants to kind of continue here on the 15-minute chart. So yeah, looks like a lot of people are feeling the pain. The Bears are out in full swing today and really kind of ripping us apart here. Again, what I'm looking for here on the time frame again, we're currently at 3 minute or 3:23. So at 3:30, if this hasn't really made somewhat of a stopping of bleeding and maybe a somewhat of a retracement here, if this does bounce, we're going to be potentially looking for somewhat of a recovery potentially to that 325. So if that does kind of come through in the overall markets, that could be a very nice little turnaround play in the close here, and then really looking for on how the market will interpretate this very aggressive selling that we're seeing coming in today. Because today, again, really the last 2 days have been fairly aggressive here to the downside. Again, looking here on a little bit more cleaner chart here on the hourly chart here. Basically, coming into Friday of last week, we were around that 334. And now basically from that level, we have kind of somewhat corrected to the downside. Where we're currently sitting at is basically looking at nearly 3.5%. That's not like insane, like crazy move, but it's pretty significant in the terms of like, hey, we could potentially get a further downside coming here with the overall Nasdaq. Alan says, I would like to add to my Apple position at these levels if I was not all about AMC. You are riding that boat pretty heavily on AMC, aren't you? I wish you the best of luck there, Alan. It looks like the Nasdaq, not a pretty day there. Hitting an all-time low for the day. Now we're seeing a little bit of a recovery kind of coming through. Maybe seeing something kind of potentially try to pop off here. Again, 3:30 is the time frame that we're looking at. That is when the algorithms could be switching over, other various components driving into that the mixture of that cocktail of this amazing amount of selling. Because again, the selling can really continue. So if we go to the daily side, we're kind of in that 34 EMA level. I want to try. I want to break and close above that 324 to 324.25 today, to really hammer home of like, hey, the Bears, we gave you a day, we gave you 2 days really, to kind of scare us a little bit, but can you please stop here? So looking for, again, if this does want to continue coming in tomorrow, we can potentially see this back down at these levels. The next level to really break is where we're currently sitting at, and the gap down level of support could be around 320 within the Nasdaq or the QQQ, the noodles, whatever you want to call them. About 4 minutes until that 3:30 time frame to kind of see on how the patterns kind of level off here. We'll see that. Let's see here. KC? What's KC? Someone just pinged me. Yes, I am. My gorilla math tells me I'm a winner. KC is saying it's oversold. Ooh, yeah, that is definitely down a lot today. Yikers. King Loft Cloud is a Chinese server. Okay. Yeah, that's a very aggressive downward handle there. My gorilla math. All right, let's go back to the QQQ. It looks like that. See, we get that 330 turnaround that we're looking for. Yeah, it's like a push lower here, so that that math might not add up due to the fact of these very aggressive downward moves that we're currently seeing in the market here, and really just kind of driving and drilling that price lower here. And again, those market makers, or the algos and things like that, trying to do that max pain. We can look here on the P call ratio as well. So looking here, again, this kind of mimics the how many people are short compared to how long the puts to calls. Again, more puts meaning that people are expecting a reversal or a crash or whatever. Not really, just kind of been somewhat flat here. The ticks, we can kind of look here on an hourly chart. Let me look on a 1 minute chart. This is going to be very noisy. I do apologize. So nothing too aggressive here on the tick chart. So the tick chart kind of a mentor of mine told me that if it's like over negative 500 or plus 500, that's when the algos go full sell or buy mode. As we're looking here, we're kind of hit a little bit of ticks here that went above 500. Looks like there's more selling coming in now. And really just kind of driving the prices continuously lower here for the old Nasdaq. So not a fun day for the bulls today. Yeah, that's not very fun there at all. So QQQ just broke that 323. We are about to hit that 330 level. Tesla just broke 320 or 720 here. So that's very aggressive moves coming in here as well. On this time frame, again, we talked about Tesla potentially trying to hold and stay above that 722. We clearly have broken that as of right now on the 1 minute chart. So that does not mean next of anything. So very aggressive selling coming in. let's see here. Let's go to QQQ. The old Tesla kind of coming back here a little bit. That Fibonacci number at 720-ish level. The Nasdaq is trying to. Why am I having to go back to the 15-minute chart? It's trying to come back here a little bit. We'll see on how this overall plays out. This is definitely. Is it max pain? We can go much lower, I think. But what people are willing to take in the beating is definitely a interesting to look for. Whoever just disliked KY, I do. There's a lot of people that can dislike a lot of things. That's totally fine. They have their own opinions. That's totally fine. They're just not having a good day, and they just their portfolio is probably taking a huge hit, and they just need a little bit of aggression out. That's totally fine. So the QQQs getting somewhat of a rebound here. That 330 bid kind of came in some ever so slightly here, but we're not seeing that significant rebound that I was hoping and looking for here. Want to see this again. I want to see this back above that 324 at least 324.50. So we can move up $1 in the next like 28 minutes. That would be fantastic. So with those price actions going on there, but yeah, definitely a lot of selling coming in today, and not many people are clearly buying the dip here because they are the bears are out for tacking and taking blood here because this is a very, very aggressive actions that we're kind of coming in to see here. You look at the old Tesla here. Yeah, Tesla kind of hitting that Fibonacci level that we talked about here, just continuously downtrending here. Looking here on a little bit different time frame on the hourly chart here, you saw again that $900 level not really get surpassed here, and now seeing that very aggressive selling coming in. We talked about those levels before on some previous videos. Let's go back to QQQ. Yeah, the techs are just getting killed today. Yikers. This is not fun. I think a lot of people are just literally walking away from their computers and just saying F it and just throwing their phones down. It's kind of how it feels like, where people are just like, they're not willing. You're trying to step in front of a freight train of these bears just selling it. For whatever reasons, this is just the algos, the bears, the larger institutions are just driving the prices lower. Again, be very mindful of where we've came from. Again, the QQQ is kind of coming down to that 34 EMA here, potentially back down to the 50 here. That would be a little bit concerning there to see that extreme prices to those levels, but anything can happen in the market. You have to be kind of ready for a switcheroo at any given time, to be quite honest. Just looking at a couple things here. Hold on. Yeah, we are selling down Tesla. That selling is continuously going. Yeah. My only concern thing is basically looking for what's going to happen coming tomorrow. Really looking for maybe a potential turnaround Tuesday, as they call it. It's definitely been a very reddish, very sad day to say the least, with the amount of really strong selling and just the overall people just taking us out here. because looking here strictly at the Nasdaq, we can easily see some support potentially on this hourly chart here. We are seeing that aggressive momentum continuing here. We're looking for some initial support around that 13,000 to the downside here, but this is a very sad day if you're long here some stock, because again, this is a really, I was looking for somewhat of a maybe try to get a little bit of a bounce around 330. Clearly did not happen. It just kind of bounced here a little bit and then just continue to sell off here. We can look here on like that 15-minute chart, bounced here a little bit and then just took a bigger poopies to the downside here, even further and further. Really just kind of see this very strong selling going into the close here. That's never a great way to end a day, especially most people are more bullish than bearish at the time. So I hope everyone's accounts is really going to be feeling the pain coming in the next couple days, especially today. Yeah, IWM is also tanking. The Russell. Yeah, the Russell kind of came out of nowhere too. Like, look at this. So this is towards the 3 o'clock time frame, really kind of just took down lower here as well. Again, this could be because of the Fed stuff that's coming out tomorrow, and there are talks about potentially raising interest rates and talking about inflations, money printing, all the other various components like that. But the thing is when max loss happens, whatever that price is basically like a Monday day quarterbacking. Is basically a something to be very well aware of. This very aggressive amount of money going to the market. So kind of want to break this down here, going into a little bit of a smaller time frame, like a 5-minute chart here, and maybe getting some kind of reversals here. And maybe seeing this kind of maybe try to rebound into the close. I don't like to see these very aggressive. I want to maybe kind of like maybe scoot into the close, maybe just kind of trade sideways. I like this candle right here on the 5-minute chart. So if this kind of holds with that higher the volume or the price action being towards the top of the candle, that could be a nice little springboard to kind of print us higher here. Again, the number that I'm looking for on the QQQ is really to kind of give us some numbers here, like we talked about, is that 324.25. That should be right here. 324.25 right here. Basically, at these levels, what I want to see the Nasdaq try to close today. Am I going to see it? Maybe not, but anything can happen within the market. Again, we still have 22 minutes left in the market, so we can definitely see a lot of volume coming in here on the chart here, so we can definitely see some kind of coming in there as well. Let's see here. Disney's still strong. Trip and Save are still up. IPOF is still around $15-ish. ABR, wow. Apple's really getting creamed here. Same with AMD. AMD's down to $85. Wowzers. That's insane. We need to get those the bulls going here. Let's look at what old Tesla's doing. Yeah, Tesla has finally broken through that now. Really, again, Tesla's really going to be coming down to potentially touch the 80-90 EMA. Not many people are going to want to be jumping in front of this bus here or this freight train. But this is definitely something to be not worrisome about, because in the whole sense of everything, looks like IPOE is below $21.38. That's not fun as well. Looking at those levels here. Let's do that. Let's just buy. Whew, this is not a fun day. Even my account hurts. Like, don't get me wrong. Like this hurts everyone's account. Like unless, like I said, like you're strictly in like two or three stocks that are just doing fantastic. Like Bitcoin, as we're speaking, is down nearly 3% at 2.84, kind of hovering around that $54,000. The futures for Nasdaq down 2.5%. Russell's almost down 1% now. That's pretty astonishing. And SP 500 is down nearly 0.65% as well. Um, like we talked about, we would love to see some kind of bleeding stopping going into the close here. I don't want to end the day here at these very extreme levels. So, but a lot of things are pretty much coming through here. The alerts are starting to take off here. So, looking for ACC, ACIC coming in nearly 10% here. Very movement coming in here, and really seeing these really print lower here. Wowzers. Okay, now the alerts are coming in. JMIH is down below as well. Very aggressive selling going into the close, like we just talked about. Um, Very difficult to kind of counteract here at the point, if less you were short beginning of last week. This is really hard to kind of create some kind of balance to get in front of this very massive amount of selling here. NIOs. Whoa, I just got an alert for NIO too. Yikes. Yeah, that is definitely very aggressive selling going on here. Let's see. Yeah, we just basically took out very extreme levels here, and that selling is now probably ripping across. Now I'm getting a lot of notifications here on my phone and my Discord. It's very been a dramatic day. Who's got tears in my eyes? It's kind of like Kathy Wood's buying today. We'll find out what Kathy Wood is buying today around 6:30 ish. If you started trading stocks today, this is not a fun day. Let's put it that way. Mm, everything, like how does that song thing? Everything is awesome. Everything is not awesome today. Everything is not awesome today. Very aggressive red candles here. But we've seen this movement before. I don't think we're gonna get that 324 tick that I was hoping for here on the noodles here, and maybe getting a little bit of run up here. That continuous pressure here. Yeah. Just looking here. Looks like the Nasdaq's trying to come back here a little bit here. That's a nice little move going higher here. Let's see on how this mother trucker does. Looks like a lot of people are trying to buy this here. Would be a nice little ending of the day without a doubt here. Let's see here. Let's see. And a DM pins is going down quite a bit here. let's see. NNDM is really getting beat up today, isn't it? Wow. CCIV is coming down here. It looks like the Nasdaq's slightly coming back here, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, this is I'm doing live trading here as well, so I'm sorry if I missed your questions. F is the market. I knew I would have got puts, but I didn't hold on false hope. Reversal tomorrow is my last day. If I have no reversal, I'll close everything and rebuy it at the crash. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. This is again, you have to understand that if you're looking and zooming out here in the charts here, we've in the Nasdaq, we've literally had a rally since November of last year. So that trend has been very strong here, holding that 21 to 34 EMA multiple times. This could maybe just really buckling the trend, aka getting some people potentially in the short-term dated side out, aka we call what those weak hands, and really looking for the fear gauge of just really just kind of creating that most amount of fear and just scaring the Hello Kitty out of people and really getting them to sell them shares to the institutionals and things like that. Again, what is the case here? What people are fearful about? I have no idea. We're definitely going to be reading about what the talking heads are thinking about what it could be, but that's something that we'll definitely have to wait and see coming to the close here. Mm-hmm. Very interesting here. I'm sorry, it's a little bit quiet here. We got about 11 minutes left into the close, so we'll see on how this plays out. But whew, this has been a very exhausting day with the markets here. It's been very difficult to hold stocks. This is a very red day. I know a lot of people are getting their arms twisted. The market's begging you to say uncle, and just wanting you to roll over and letting you feel like a POS, and just really just kind of uh, really mess with your mental fortitude here. So please stay steadfast and so forth. Let's take a look at NIO, please. Yeah. So NIO here, looking fairly, again, very difficult because a lot of things are down. We're looking for, again, that initial support potentially around $50. If that does not hold, that could not be a very good day for the old NIO. NIO, of course, has earnings coming out in less than a week here. That could be a catalyst again. If we see this continuously selling going off, that could be a very much a red flag. But that being said, NIO right now is in a very steep retracement here. Again, looking nearly down 8% in a day. That's never a fun thing to be positioned in. And looking at the same time at Tesla being well below around 9% at these levels, kind of coming in here. So this is something to be, yeah. Very aggressive moves down, yes, without a doubt. And it's easier to hold stock than it is options because, again, options, that theta decay could really add to those positions substantially here. Um, wow. Looking if I see anything kind of come through here. The Nasdaq still continuously pounding the ball lower here. At the same time, like gold's up nearly 1.78%. So I know my boy Ariel's super happy here, um, in the sense of what he called, but I wish we took a better advantage of it. Um, Happy days for Tesla. You want it at 420. It might happen. Who knows, right? I'm not going to say it can't happen, but it's still got quite a ways to go if we hit those levels at those very, very extreme levels being said there. Mm, Let's see here. Disney's having a great day. Thoughts on AMC? AMC is closed, but I'm starting to open. They just got a $550 million line of credit to use as they feel fit. The beer, the beer flu is the last mile. AMC stock is at 6. Waiting for Musk tweet saying Tesla is overvalued. Yeah, who knows? He would kick it while it's down there. Um, let's see here. Looks like we're going to close down well over 2.5% potentially. Oops, 3 Qs, 2. Yeah, we did not get that bounce like I was hoping to. We're not. I don't want to see a large red candle going in the last 10 minutes, but something to be super well aware about. Is plug at a buy place? Is again the sector I'm going to be telling you is going to be a little bit support here. Yeah, plug down a lot today. It's kind of in that 50-day. Basically, the last couple, because again, what's happening here is everyone's selling out. So this selling could continue for 2 or 3 days because not everyone who wanted to get out today. There's people that don't look at their phones until after market, so we could see some more selling coming in tomorrow, and have this kind of this revolving door of just more and more selling going forth here. Let's see. Yeah, like my account's down 5% today. Like that's not fun. I don't think it's fun for anyone. My longer term account's down a little bit more because I have a little bit more shares of Tesla in there, but PLTR, kind of holding that $27 level here as well. Looking for again that $27 to potentially hold there. That's what we're really kind of keeping a very keen eye on that. But with literally 5 minutes left of trading here, it's really going to be very much a stagnant. Normally don't see a large flush coming in here at those prices here, but I just saw a very large order of Apple going through. Someone just purchased. Let me pull that up here real fast for you. AAPL. Someone purchased, what was it? The April 125 calls. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of volume coming in at this. The 125 call for April, someone purchased 1.8 million at $7.14. So again, is this max pain? So if you are somewhat new to trading, this does feel like a very painful day. But just remember last year this time, we saw a lot of max pain. It's been very, very difficult to hold this. but it's very difficult to sell. Again, the market's really just kind of screaming at you, trying to make you call uncle. This is not a fun day, honestly, for anyone. Really, it's not a fun day for my account as well. Like I said, I'm just really being down pretty substantial today. Um, Never fun. I don't think, unless you're, again, like we talked about, we're just short the Nasdaq, or you owned some other various companies that you were able to purchase and make some money on here. Yeah, not many people in the swing trading and longer term accounts made any kind of significant capital today, because again, the overall market did print lower here fairly substantially. We'll be analyzing it into the night here, and really looking at the futures and how they open up coming in after the market closes here in like an hour and a half or so, and potentially looking for some potential guidance up or down, left or right. A little bit of more buyers coming in again. 3 minutes left before the close. Excuse me. Get a sneeze towards the last 2 minutes is always good luck, actually, what I was told. Alan says, don't hate me, but I'm up for 3%. Let's give everyone a round of applause for Alan. Alan S., thank you, my friend. I really do. You're up for 3%. I love you. I love you. Oh, the humanity. Oh, Build-A-Bear is no longer your stronghold there? Like, if I had more, I should have balanced my portfolio a little bit better towards the retail side of stuff. But my trading account's mostly in gross, so it's really being hit hard because of that. But my longer dated portfolio is doing okay there. I mean, it's down more like percentage wise, but it's up more as well too. So I guess it's a tit for tat kind of scenario. So like I guess maybe Max Payne has not hit most accounts yet, because again, looking here at the QQQs or the noodles, we got about 50 seconds left into the close here. That 34 EMA has been support below. We are closing below this. We have not closed below this 34 EMA in some time, so that's going to be something, levels to be looking up there. DoorDash RIP. What's DoorDash's ticker? Like, that's the thing that happens when, was it just Dash, right? Yikes. Yeah. That's what happens when people are not like, they don't have a high conviction in a stock. You just see it dumping. It's never a flattering sign to see, without a doubt. I am going to. There's the bell. The pain has stopped. Yikers. Looks like, oh, someone bought Rocket at the close there. GT. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. What did the QQQs close at? 322. Yeah. Well, they have about literally 15 minutes left of trading, though, because the ETF's go a little bit longer. We didn't see enough. Like, look at this volume kind of came in here the last 5 minutes to kind of buy up things, kind of level things off, and now we're going to potentially get that. Again, we had that level try to break above 324, so we'll see if that, yeah. Alan says a day like this is when diversification makes me feel like a genius. You're only down $100. God bless you guys. You guys have those safe haven stocks, I guess. There, I'm the idiot here, guys. On that note, it's been a hell of a day here. Greatly appreciate it. We'll try to live stream more often as well. We'll be doing some videos as well, and definitely stay tuned for that. Again, guys, Stay safe, please. Again, this market was very extreme selling. Take a break, take a nap, eat a slice of pizza, whatever does it for you. But we will recover. This was very very aggressive downward, and I know I have quite a few pings to answer on a lot of people who are messaging me during this very aggressive movement. All right, folks, you guys have a blessed day, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.